Namaste, everybody. Back again. And we're here at the Happy Man channel. And thank you for being here with us. So we're going to continue with our answering and addressing different questions and topics that our viewers have presented to us. Always a pleasure to know what's on your mind and then try to speak about it. So there's two questions that we're going to somewhat combine. One is about anxiety and oppressive thoughts, and the other one is depression. And unfortunately, in today's world, both of those subjects are seemingly on the increase. Everybody's got anxiety. Now, if you look up that word in the dictionary, it says anxiety is projected fear or bad omens or doom or dread on something that might happen in the future. It hasn't happened yet, but you're thinking, oh, it could happen. And so there's some anxiety about that and fear and, just a very unpleasant sensation. And of course, in today's world, there's a lot of cause for anxiety, isn't there? Because things are changing and very rarely for the better. And so we're in anxiety about our future, whether it's the future of our body, the future of our family, the future of our finances, the future of whatever. And in too many cases, it's been proven that's not a bright outlook. Things are usually not, getting better, but getting more difficult. And so we're in anxiety about that. And we obsess on that. We think about it, and it becomes more and more obsessive. And, in some cases, it just completely overwhelms us. People have panic attacks, anxiety attacks, whereas they're just debilitated. They can't do anything. And so, obviously, it's a problem, and it's a big problem. The pharmaceutical companies have manufactured unlimited numbers of chemical solutions, over-the-counter drugs, prescription drugs, to try to battle this problem with anxiety and obsessive thoughts. And accompanying all that is depression. See, it's basically hand in hand. It's not much difference. And so there has to be a solution that's a real solution. I mean, the stopgap solutions, the pharmaceutical solutions, the illicit drug solutions, the intoxication solutions, the denial solutions, try to do fun things, etc. Even if they do work temporarily, and very rarely is that the case, it's not a solution, And so what do we do to find a real solution? Well, number one, we're in ignorance in general. When I say we, I mean in general. People are in ignorance. We're in ignorance about who we are. See, I say this every time because it's so much a part of this whole problem world. We don't know who we are. We think we're the body. We think this world is our home. We think we have to, somehow arrange our life, either change what's around us or move to another place or have another relationship that's more favorable or get a higher education or make more money or whatever to be secure, to feel good about ourselves. I was recently just watching a video about a person who's a runner, an ultra runner. And this whole video, he's talking about his whole life, he's felt bad about himself. He never felt he was good enough. He thought nobody liked him, and he was bullied in school, and he began to run as his outlet. He was really good at it. He won some races. He gained some recognition. He even qualified for the 2012 Olympics. But he still felt it wasn't good enough. You know, he had some successes, but he also had some failures, and his mind was just driving him crazy. And that's not uncommon, you know, whether we're in a situation like he is in or another situation. It's an unfortunate common problem. So if we think we're the body, we think we have to find happiness from this world, from our achievements in this world, or looking like we would like to look, you know, having other people respond to us favorably, you know, praise us, congratulate us, make us feel good about ourselves. That's what we're trying to achieve. But we're not the body. And those who do achieve it, and, you know, a lot do, some never even fall into these periods of anxiety and depression and this mental turmoil. They're still not happy because we need happiness for us, the spirit soul, spiritual happiness. And, you know, you can listen to testimonials from hundreds and hundreds of people, and probably you'll not hear any or maybe one or two people say, I changed all this by living a spiritual life, trying to grow spiritually. I was seeking a spiritual solution. Nobody says that. You know, if they do, it's very rare. Because we're not taught like that. The society is not oriented like that. Spirituality, if at best, is pseudo. It's some kind of, you know, concocted ideas, or, you know, some strong sectarian motivation that, you know, kind of puts us in a box and we can't think out of that box. And even if we are in one of these, you know, spiritual, faith-based, you know, groups, societies, whatever we want to describe it as, there's anxiety that I won't be good enough here, or that, you know, I'm going to sin, I'm going to die and go to hell. So there's anxiety there too. I'm depressed because I'm too bad, I'm too sinful. So we need to know what is real. See, number one, I'm spirit soul. I'm not this material body. I need spiritual food. I need to seek spiritual protection, spiritual happiness, spiritual satisfaction. Number two, I need to know that I am eternally a perfect spirit soul. The imperfection is in the illusions, the coverings, the misunderstandings. That's the imperfection. And that's with everybody, whether they experience it or not. We need to come back to our true nature. See, we have to understand that I am loved, I am cared for, I am protected, I am important to the Supreme Lord. See, there's where we find our true shelter, our true protection, our true relief, where I can just relax, you know, and in the presence of the Lord find real comfort. And I'm not, you know, in anxiety that I'm not good enough, because, you know, the Lord tells us we're all His children. And we may not be good enough because we're still in illusions, we're still contaminated. So we need to do the work, we need to do the purification, we need to follow the perfect guidance, to get rid of these, diseases, we'll say, these imperfections. But underneath all that, we're perfect. And we need to understand that. The love of God for us is perfect. That will never go away. Because I'm imperfect, I'm not as I should be, it doesn't mean I'm not loved, that I'm not cared for, that I'm not taken, let's say I'm not, living my life perfectly. What we need to perfect is our trust, our faith in the Lord and His teachers. And then there's where the perfection is. Not making my body perfect, making my mind perfect. See? And as we go in this direction, we learn also that the mind is, just a garbage pit in many cases, filled with garbage. So these obsessive thoughts and, all this, depression and everything is just part of that garbage. And we can clean up the garbage pit. How to do it? Follow the teachings of the Lord. He tells us what to do. See? And you'll hear it again and again. The mantras, these transcendental sounds, they are the solution. They are the cleansing agent. They are the way to become happy and satisfied. And we have to have faith in that. We have to take shelter there. See, it's said in Bhagavad Gita by the Lord Krishna himself that those who doubt the revealed scriptures, doubt the supreme authority and teaching, will find happiness neither in this life nor the next. If we're doubters, then we can expect to be in anxiety. We can expect to have our minds drive us crazy. We can expect to be depressed. And so we have to develop faith, but it can't be artificial. Once again, nothing in life that's real is artificial. We have to understand that. We can't mentally create these desirable situations, this attachment, this love for, this, devotion to the Supreme Lord. We can't artificially do that. We have to come to that point of consciousness, of understanding. And the way we do it is take the medicine. See, associate with people who are strong in this understanding, who are strong in their faith. Associate with them. That will give us strength. That will rub off on us, as it said. Association is so valuable, so important. And so bad association leads to bad things, a bad life. We're not talking about just associating with the bad guys, the criminals and the bad people. We're talking about associating with people who are trying to find happiness in the material world as being a bad association, because they convince us that this is what we should do too. This is how we should live our life. Good association is when we associate with people who know this is not true, that this will not work, that the result will not be as I want it to be, that I am spirit soul. People who actually say this and live this and have faith in this, and you can feel their faith, their conviction. That's good association. And they will positively affect us. And so all of this is a package of moving to the real solution. So if you apply these temporary solutions, you can. And maybe you need to do that for a temporary relief so you can go beyond that. I mean, there's different cases that, have different degrees of severity and need a slightly different approach. But the goal's the same. The goal is the same. So we could say, oh, think positive. Oh, don't worry about things. Why are you in anxiety? Don't worry. But we worry anyway. See, that's not strong enough. It's good enough. It's not the real solution. So the Bhakti Yoga teachings, they are the real solution. And that's never going to change. It's never going to change. So a lot of times, one may get tired of hearing this, but what can we do? We want to help people. We want to really help people, to come to a higher platform of understanding, a higher platform of consciousness, and a better life, a really better life. So we're always encouraging people, take this to your life. It's easy, it's simple. Just add it to your life. And, don't worry that the future is going to be like this and the future is going to be like that. Who knows what the future is going to be? Number one, the world is changing so rapidly. Number two, our karma is what it is. So whether, things are this way or that way, we're still going to have to experience the results of our previous actions. But if we take to this process of Bhakti Yoga, we apply it to our life sincerely, we don't have to even worry about karma, because that purifies us of karma, and eventually we'll go beyond all these things. So that's the real solution. If you're already in depression, chant the holy names, and that will lift you up. That will give you a better mood. If you're not in depression, chant the holy names. This will keep you from going there. And if you learn these truths, even if you do experience some anxiety and depression, you see it for what it is. It's temporary. It's a product of my mind and this material complexity of life. And you focus on the real goal. And this will, be amazing relief. I've known people who are prone to depression so much. Maybe this one person I know, dear friend of mine, she came from a family of really depressed people. Her father, her mother, her aunt, her brother, her aunt committed suicide, her brother committed suicide. Another one was, completely depressed and, had a difficult time, to say the least. And she also had that same thing. Was it genetic? I don't know. But anyway, she was part of that as well. So when I met her, she was always struggling with this. But she took to this process, took this information and this practice seriously. Did it prevent depression completely? No, she still had those periods. But now she was not a part of it. She was above it. She wasn't like before thinking, I'm depressed. She said, this is just a temporary situation that I'm going through. She continued on her spiritual practice and spiritual journey. And became completely successful. There's a higher goal. There's a higher taste. There's a higher reality. That's where we need to be. Okay, thank you very much. And stay tuned. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be satisfied. Everybody wants to feel love. We need these things. And so the easiest way to actually fulfill these desires and needs is to regularly hear and chant the holy names. Chant these mantras. So let's all do that now.
Oh